Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Today is Tuesday, December 19th, 2023, and we are here for the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners Administrative Matters meeting here in our hearing room at our Larimer County Administrative Services Building in Fort Collins. And I welcome you to our meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we're going to start by doing a Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for joining us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Again, welcome. I am Larimer County Commissioner Jody Shai-McNally, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, and I welcome you and happy holidays, everyone. Joining me at the dais are my colleagues, Larimer County Commissioner Kristen Stevens and Larimer County Commissioner John Gafalis. Also helping us and joining us for our meeting today is our folks at the dais. We have the clerk to the board, Tessa Beatty. Good morning, Tessa. Great to see you. We have our county manager, Lorenda Volker. Lorenda, I got the memo. We're wearing green today, so I'm kidding. There's a lot of green in the audience, so we must have all got the memo. This is great. And then we have Tom Clayton from our commissioner's office. And thank you, Tom. The public information office, but he's in the commissioner's office. And today we have Michelle Bird, who must be covering for Sarah Martin. And Michelle Bird is our public information director. One of these days, I'm going to get it done. All right. They keep changing everyone's titles. No, I'm kidding. All right, so we'll start with public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment today? Everyone, I think, has holiday-itis. We're all scrambling to get things done. All right. Do we have anybody who's signed up online?
We do not.
Great. Well, this is wonderful. We always welcome to engage on public comment, but this means we can get to some of our special guests sooner than later. So we had a lot of public comment the last 2 weeks, and we appreciate everyone taking advantage of that and coming and engaging with us. So now I will ask my colleagues about the approval of the minutes. Colleagues, did you have any changes or additions or concerns about the minutes? Okay. I will ask Commissioner Gafalis to please make that motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I move to approve the minutes for the week of December 11th, 2023.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Michelle, you want to talk about our upcoming schedule, which is next week during the holiday.
Yes, I actually have 2 weeks of schedules to read because we will not be having this meeting next week due to the holidays. So the first schedule is your draft schedule for December 25th through the 29th. On Monday, December 25th, county offices will be closed in observance of the Christmas holiday. And on Tuesday, December 26th, you have an open schedule. On Wednesday, December 27th, Commissioners Gafalis and Stevens may attend the Solid Waste Policy Council Advisory Agenda Prep meeting. On Thursday, December 28th, commissioners may attend a tour of the Behavioral Health Services Longview campus with Senator Janice Marchman. And then on Friday, December 29th, you have an open schedule. The following week, so this is your draft schedule for January 1st through the 5th of 2024. On Monday, January 1st, county offices will be closed in observance of the New Year holiday. On Tuesday, January 2nd, you will have administrative matters meeting. That's this meeting in this room, followed by legal matters with the county attorney. At 1:30 p.m., you'll have admin direction to county management. At 6 p.m., Commissioner Gafalis will attend the Parks Advisory meeting at the Natural Resources Administrative Offices. On Wednesday, January 3rd, Commissioner Stevens will attend the Extension Advisory Board meeting. It is a hybrid meeting at Blue Spruce Drive. At 6:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual North I-25 Coalition meeting. On Thursday, January 4th, Commissioner Gafalis will host a community conversation for the Wellington and Waverly communities. Guests will be Matthew Bahunin and Alex Jordan from the Larimer County Budget Team, who will give updates to the 2024 county budget. At 12 p.m. noon, Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual National Association of Counties Transportation Committee meeting. On Friday, January 5th, Commissioner Kafalis will attend the State Board of Human Services meeting. It is a hybrid meeting in person in Denver and on Zoom. At 12 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Transportation and Natural Resources Policy Committee meeting. And then at 12:30, Commissioner Kafalis may attend the County Human Services Legislative Luncheon. That is at the Colorado Room at History Colorado Center in Denver. That is what I have.
Thank you, Michelle. Colleagues, do you have any additions or changes? Commissioner Kafalis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, Michelle. Just to clarify, the afternoon meeting at the Colorado History Museum on January 5th, the sponsors of that are the Colorado Human Services Directors Association and Colorado Counties, Inc., CCI.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Stevens? Okay, just to let everybody know, I will be gone for a couple of days. I'm going to celebrate my 30th wedding anniversary
Oh,
for a few
congratulations.
days. So just, my husband has to work Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and so we're gonna take some time. So it'll be great. So off to go do some hiking. I'm not telling you where. So no one finds me. Okay. I think that's all we have for that. And we'll move now on to our consent agenda. Just for members of the public to know, we have several items on this agenda. I'm going to read through them at a high level, but and not in detail, but our consent agenda is online in detail. All numbers and details are in our emails and our schedules, videos of our meetings are all there on the Board of County Commissioners website, and I welcome you to go on and to dig into that if you're so interested. So the consent agenda consists of items of no perceived controversy and routine administrative actions such as abatements, agreements, deeds, final plats, liquor license, resolutions, and other matters previously reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners, and staff recommends approval of the consent agenda, and a commissioner may request an item be pulled off the agenda considered separately. Items pulled from the agenda will be considered after the board takes action on the remainder of the consent agenda. So I'm going to read through this at a high level. We have several agreements. The first one is agreement for funding of broadband service in the Ptarmigan neighborhood, and this is part of our work as the Board of County Commissioners to expand broadband services with our partners at City of Loveland with Pulse and City Fort Collins Connection, but this one's with Pulse to get up into some unincorporated areas and expand this municipal broadband. And it's very exciting to see this going forward. We have a professional services agreement, P23-19 non-project Pacific Engineering Construction Management Services. The other one is a project services agreement, P23-19 non-project specific engineering construction management services. And the first one was between Larimer County, Board of County Commissioners in Colorado and AVI Professional Corporation. The next is Board of County Commissioners and Colorado and Fesberg, Holt, and Uvig Incorporated. 4, we have a professionals services agreement, P29-19, non-project specific engineering construction management services, J-U-B, and this is between Larimer County and Colorado and the JUB Engineering Incorporated. Number 5, we have intergovernmental agreement for funding of the US 34 Transportation Management Organization, TMO, in Larimer County. And this is between Larimer County and the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization. And this is part of our contribution as it's an IGA between Larimer County and the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization for the initial funding of the US 34 Transportation Management Organization. And this will help manage a consulting team and develop, along with staff, for the US 34 Transportation Management Organization. And I know Commissioner Stevens has been involved with that, and I thank her for her service to get that going. Number 6, we have an amendment to the Colorado Department of Transportation agreement contract for the Fizeware Bridge and Trail Project. And this is between Larimer County and CDOT. We have a State of Colorado grant agreement And this is, as you know, I serve as the vice chair of the Regional Opioid Abatement Council, but this is one with the state Opioid Abatement Council, and this is between the Sheriff's Office, the Board of County Commissioners. Well, it's going to help with the stone soup at the Sheriff's Office, and this is between the Board of County Commissioners and the Colorado Department of Law, because this is with the state regional opioid abatement, and this is the Stone Super Community Reintegration Initiative, and this will be really important work. And congratulations to Sergeant Stacy Schaefer in the Sheriff's Office for her tremendous work. 8, we have a Town of Berthoud statement of work and budget agreement for law enforcement services between Larimer County, Larimer Sheriff, and the Town of Berthoud. And then we have the Battalion Wellington statement of work and budget agreement for law enforcement services, and that is between Larimer County Sheriff, and the Town of Wellington. We have several appointments. We have the appointment to the Agricultural Advisory Board. Congratulations to Miss Welsh and Mr. Osbach. We have recommendation appointments to the Berthoud Library Board. Congratulations, Mr. Latchka and Miss Robinson. We have a recommended reappointment. Oh, the other one was a recommended reappointment to the Mountain Range Shadows Public Improvement District. Congratulations, Mr. Mortensen. Thanks for your service. Recommended appointments, a reappointment and appointment to the Visit Estes Park Board for reappointment of Miss Murphy or Mr. Murphy, and then also Miss Smith. So thank you for your service there. It's really amazing work that they're doing recently. We have the liquor licenses. We have the liquor license manager registration of the American Legion post number 4. And this post is in Fort Collins. We have the liquor license special event, 6% events for the Polar Plunge, which is green events, and that will be in Fort Collins. And we have liquor license for Odell Golf LLC, which is a Mountain Vista Greens for a liquor license renewal. And so we have several miscellaneous items. We have a county held liens required through annual tax sale submitted by our county treasurer. We have a correction to the stipulation to arbitration as to tax year 2023 value for account number R162544541. And this was originally on the 10/31/23 Administrative Matters meeting, and so those were corrected. We have 3 is, well, we have several stipulation as to tax years, items 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 are all stipulations as to tax year 2023. Then we have item 14 is revised building permit fee tables for code compliance and wildfire inspection, and we've had several public meetings on this. You can go to the website. We have been including some fees and changes in those departments. This will also include a fee that will go to Code Compliance Division to help $100 for offsetting costs for personnel for time invested in a case leading to a building permit. So you can go back and watch some of those meetings. Those were great conversations. And we're also going to adjust our fees for our Larimer County Sheriff's Office Emergency Services wildfire inspections on building permits to cover the time and costs on those. We have the 2024 solid waste fee schedule. Thank you, Mr. Penny, for your great work in the solid waste department. Number 16, we have planning and engineering development review fee implementation. And this again is the revisions to the planning and engineering development review fee schedule, which is going to take effect in 2024. So, and you can find more details on that. And I think we had some talk about this on Monday and the Mondays previously. 17 is a Larimer County weed management plan, and these are the 2023 updates. And these are just the updates to that version. We have another stipulation to tax 2023 value. Then we have an acceptance by the Board of County Commissioners of the annexation denial from the city of Loveland. Then we have the last one is the Bureau of Justice Assistance, BJA, fiscal year 2023 State Criminal Alien Assistance Program. And that is between the Larimer County Sheriff's Office and the Board of County Commissioners. And the Larimer County Sheriff's Office was rewarded a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice, and this will help and assist with certain costs resulting in incarceration from July 21st of 2021 through June 30th, 2022. So we have some resolutions, a resolution canceling the 2021 tax determined to be uncollectible from our treasurer and public trustee Irene Josie. We have a resolution regarding deposit of 2024 funds by county treasurer Irene Josie. And then we have a revised resolution declaring the equity fee reduction for planning, engineering, development review fees for certain application types that achieve community benefits. And this is something that the board had requested and worked on. And we had some public meetings about this. This is submitted by our community development, and this will allows our planning and engineering review development fees reduce for certain application types that support our community goals. And we're pretty excited about that. And number 4, we have a 2024 resolution amending compensation for Larimer County for the district attorney's office. And that is all we have on our consent agenda. Colleagues, do you have anything you wish to have pulled from the agenda? Okay, so with that, Commissioner Stevens, I welcome a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Yes, Madam Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda for December 19th, 2023.
Thank you for that motion. Any further deliberation, discussion? Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, I just wanted to, and I thank you for bringing up the intergovernmental agreement for funding the US 34 Transportation Management Organization. So just wanted to let the public know about this a little bit, since I have some information. Is there right now there's no transit on Highway 34, so between Loveland and Greeley there's virtually no transit, and so the $2,700 that's being allocated today is helping us fund a transportation management organization that was largely funded by CDOT. And so this is just all the communities that are involved in that area will have that same match of $2,700. And the idea is to get transit on that on 34. Hopefully at some point that will go all the way up to Estes Park. But for now, kind of the concentration is Greeley to Loveland. And so it's a really great development. Hopefully it will be something similar to bus rapid transit and not just transit. So the buses will be able to get up to some speeds. But we are looking at hiring someone to be running the TMO, and so that's being done through the MPO. So anyway, it's just a good news item, and just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens, for expanding on that. So all those in favor of approving the consent agenda? Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Thank you so much. Now I'm super excited to move on to our next item. We have a guest today, Mr. Gary Ingram, the Rocky Mountain National Park Supervisor. And I think everyone knows how much I love Rocky Mountain National Park. It's kind of my backyard. And just to let you all know, I'm 120 miles now this year. This is the most I've ever done in 1 year. So really super excited. Thank you, staff. So I want to welcome Gary Ingram to the podium, and he is our new superintendent. He's been doing a lot of traveling around and meeting with certain folks, and I know we asked him, I'm really excited for you to be here today, and welcome to Larimer County, and thank you so much for your service, and glad to hear from you today. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you turn the podium on? So, thank you. The blue button. Thank you.
What I'm talking about. There you go. I want to thank you all for having me today. It was a nice invitation. I have been traveling quite a bit, and to see the invitation just to come and say hello and introduce myself was a lot different than trying to talk about the visitor use management plan or fire or housing. But I'll start off with just a little bit of background about me. I've been with the National Park Service for a little over 30 years. I've been married to the same woman for 30 years. So there you go there. Congratulations. It's a miracle that you guys put up with us as long as you do, but I'll give you credit there. Absolutely love the Park Service. I grew up in Yosemite National Park. I went to elementary school in Yosemite Valley. So my background with the national parks goes deep. I ended up in law enforcement, protection rangers. So everything from firefighting to rescue to carrying a gun and enforcing laws. And then worked in the Alaska region and then North Carolina, Washington, D.C. twice. I worked on the Hill for a little bit. But I come from Cumberland Island now. Moved to Georgia initially in about 2007, where I took care of the the Carters, President and Mrs. Carter in Plains, Georgia, at a little site there. That was my first superintendent job. I didn't want to leave there. I bought a tractor. Life was good. And then I got promoted, went to Cumberland Island, and took another unit called Fort Frederica on St. Simon's Island. It's the largest barrier island on the East Coast, has wilderness, and it's where the Carnegies and the Rockefellers and Coca-Cola heirs all lived at some point and still own property there. So there's land issues there, and there's maritime issues. And we work closely with the United States Navy with Kings Bay Naval Base that sits right on the inside there. So it was quite a dynamic place to work, and I loved it there. And it was South Georgia on the coast. It was pretty, and I had a fleet of boats, which was amazing, landing craft and all kinds of fun things. And then this opportunity came up at Rocky, and this is one of those parks where, you know, if you grew up in the National Park Service and you know national parks, Rocky's one of the big ones, right? And it's one of the gems that you could only hope to achieve to be a part of one day, even as a ranger. So having this opportunity to come here to be chosen as the superintendent there is an honor that is amazing. I'm glad my parents are alive to see me do this. They've been very, very happy. They're very proud. And that makes me proud. You know, I'm 54 years old, but be able to look at your parents' eyes and see that in their eyes was a big deal. And that's been a big gift to me. So I mentioned my three priorities sort of in happenstance at the very beginning. But as you all know, fire is a big deal in this region. I worked as a wildland firefighter years ago. And it's a big deal to me. So fire is one of the biggest issues that we need to deal with. Already reached out to and met with the Forest Service. We're sort of the donut hole in the big donut, but we're a critical piece of that one. And working with you all, with the Forest Service, and looking at mitigations and what we can do to build up a more secure barrier in and around our park for any fire that may start at one end or the other and coming through will hopefully be stopped by our management tools and what we're doing in Rocky. The other issue is the timed entry program that we've been going through, the EA there, and I know you all are well aware of that. We just finished our public outreach for that part of the EA, and we're hoping to get a FONSI sometimes in the springtime. That's a big deal. One thing that I'm impressed with and was important to me coming in was that there was flexibility in that plan. So as times change, because we all know that they do, economy changes or whatever changes, we'll have flexibilities and tools built in there that we can adapt to changing circumstances one way or the other with the timed entry program. And the hard one, and the one that's closest and nearest to my heart since I've been here, is the housing issue that we have at Rocky. And it's the town of Estes has an issue there too, where I think everybody's trying to figure out affordable housing for their employees. And last week, well, let me back up. About a month and a half ago was my first Intermountain Regional meeting, and all the superintendents from Yellowstone down to Big Bend were there, and our director of the Park Service came to speak. And I jumped up right after he was done, and I brought up two sad stories of employees that have moved to Rocky Dream Park, but after a year of soft landing in a government house, they have to move out to find their own housing and could not find housing, so they had to leave. And the director of the Park Service said that this is one of his number one issues, or is his number one issue. And that spurred on a housing meeting that I was at last week in Denver with Park Service officials, their comptroller, to talk about solutions for housing issues. I know that if I can bring relief to employees at Rocky, it's going to relieve some pressure off of Estes, and hopefully it'll have a domino effect all the way down the road. So those are the three big items that are on my list. But like you, your dockets are sort of full, lots of things going on. And so I respect that, and I respect your time. If there are any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Ingram. It's really great to have you today, and I appreciate you sharing your background. It's pretty extensive and comprehensive. So really excited. That's pretty excited, and I hope your parents will come out and get to see some of the wonderful things of Larimer County. So I'll start with Commissioner Stevens. I don't know if she has any questions or comments.
Just thank you for being here. Really nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah, housing is something that we're concerned in kind of all over the county, but there's a special need, I think, in the Estes Park area. So, um, just a question on: do other national parks have sort of workforce housing, in place? Are there dorm kind of situations? Is there
Yeah.
anything that people that we can build off of that's already
Yeah,
been done?
absolutely. So even Rocky Mountain has housing, right? And it was built a long, long time ago. And so we have room to build houses there. It's going through that process and getting the money to do that. Um, but yes, you go to Yosemite National Park, go to Yellowstone. There's housing for employees there, but even they don't have enough. Our world has changed where if you want to live in Gardner outside of Yellowstone, or you want to live in Mariposa outside of Yosemite, most of the employees could afford to get a house. Um, but the houses, we're looking at $800,000 for a home now. And it's really, really difficult for any of the employees to afford such a house. So I think, like back in the day, having houses for employees in remote areas is critically important. The other issue, and the reason why they had houses in parks, is that remoteness. It's hard to take a 2-hour drive to get to work if you're living up in the mountains, wherever your park is. Other places, like if you went to Cumberland Island, we had housing for required occupants that were on the island for emergency services and some maintenance folks, because if something happens, come from your house, jump on a boat, and go 30 minutes on a boat to the island is not what you're looking for if you're a visitor that has an emergency, right? But in those locations, there's no housing available other than for those employees. So again, it's a balance of what we're trying to do. When I was a ranger in Yosemite, um, most of the people that live within the park were required occupants. Um, and the housing there was more affordable back then. So people that did commute, could afford a house. That is the big change here that we're all feeling.
And how does the funding works with the Park Service? I mean, do you have dollars available for something like that? How do you
So
piece together
yes,
the dollars
yeah.
to?
So Congress passes a budget, works it with the executive branch. This hasn't been a priority. Money for housing. What the National Park Service is really focused on is our maintenance backlog over the years, and trying to take care of infrastructure that we've had. So we were successful over the years to get those dollars to come in, so we can start working on the assets that we currently have. But there's been such a quick shift, right, with interest rates and the inflation and everything, that I think right now the Park Service is trying to figure out what are we going to do now. So those conversations are being had.
Well, I wish you all the best with that, and certainly we, like I said, we're familiar with that situation. I just didn't know how the funding worked. If you had
Yeah,
to put together funding, if there was dollars available through.
yeah. At the housing meeting, and none of this has been approved, but I'm asking for flexibility for what funding sources are there that have been allocated by Congress for certain things. Some funding sources, there's no give, right? They're set aside for that particular item. But talking to the comptroller, I am looking for ways to use funds that we do have for different projects and setting that aside, in particular for housing needs. We need employees to run this park, and without that, that would be really bad.
Well, thank you, and yeah, please stay in touch about that
I
as we
will.
kind of
Thank you
work
so
on
much. I
that. And
appreciate your
I don't
interest.
know if there's opportunities for the city and other folks to be a part of that, but that there could be solutions that involve multiple partners, and so
Absolutely.
okay.
Like the way you're thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In the housing world, you have to think about it that way, I think. So
Thanks.
thanks. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Commissioner Kapfalis, questions or comments?
Yes. Yes, I do. First of all, good morning. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Gary, I look forward to continuing to build our relationship with the county and the Forest Service and certainly the Park Service. I wanted to share quickly a personal story, and then I have two questions. Excuse me. One is back in 1974, I believe you were 4 years old.
5.
Five. A
Close.
couple of friends and I came out west to visit the Rocky Mountains, and we hiked, backpacked in Glacier, Yellowstone, Tetons, and the culmination was a backpack in Rocky Mountain National Park along the north end from one end to the other. And that experience prompted me to do better in life
Mm.
and to make Colorado home. So I wanted to share that
It's a beautiful story.
personal story.
Nice.
I hopefully you were hiking a little bit when you were 5 years old.
A little bit.
Okay.
Usually
My, my,
running.
my two questions are um, given that Rocky Mountain National Park is one of the top 5 or so most visited parks in
Yes,
the
sir.
country,
That's correct.
and in light of the timed entry system that we've put in place, that you all have put in place, what other um, what other things is the park looking at in terms of 20 years from now, sustainability, and how do we maintain the recreational aspect of the park as well as um, the environmental protection and habitat protection. And I think Rocky National Park is part of, Commissioner Shattuck McNally could speak to this, but there's something called NOCO 2050.
Hmm.
And I think you folks are at the table to look at 20 years from now with all the extra usage. How will things be?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if you want to comment on, what are you all thinking about 20 years from now, how the park is going to be?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. And I went to my first NOCO meeting.
Good,
I think it was 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago,
good.
and it was fantastic. What's interesting with Rocky Mountain, and one of the first leadership roles I've had being here, is pushing forward with leadership in Washington for the time entry. It's something that the park needs to have happen. I think it sets us up for the 20-year outlook that you're looking at right now. I know that NOCO and a lot of the counties are looking at what we're doing. The Forest Service is looking at what we're doing now, and I think there's going to end up being a model. I would hope that all the different users of our open spaces will have an opportunity to go do different things at different locations. And what I mean by that, and I represented at NOCO, was, you can't do certain things in a national park, right? You can't take your dirt bike out on a trail going to Longs Peak. Now, a guy that comes from sea level may appreciate that, but at some point, it's not a good thing. So you can't do that there, but there may be a county park or there may be a Forest Service park where you can do that. They've explained to me the explosion of population in the Front Range, and you look at what does that mean 20 years from now. I don't know. I've been reading about water issues out west since I was this little, but you think about the water issues and the things that you all have to deal with on this side. I'm learning about our Grand Ditch. I'm learning about a tunnel that goes through the Continental Divide. I mean, these are things that are sort of blowing my mind, and getting educated on water things, like we had out west in Yosemite. So I think we're doing proactive steps now, which are going to help us find solutions in the future.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes.
I have one more question, and that is on the matter of affordable housing. Are you aware of, I think it's the first ever in the country, Summit County partnered with the U.S. Forest Service to build workforce housing for some of their employees. And then also realizing it's not kind of the same thing, but we have to think outside the box, especially when it comes to housing.
Oh, yeah.
There was a really good article in the paper today about the partnership between Colorado State University, uh, Timberline Church of Faith Community, and the developer, private sector developer, to build workforce housing for CSU employees.
Hmm.
I just want to bring those two things to your attention. If you're not aware of them, you may want to look into them in more detail because there may be some lessons learned.
What outstanding? What paper are you referring to?
The Fort Collins, Colorado one is our local paper, and we So that's one thing to be aware of. You can look it up, or
Well, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee. I'll grab a paper too,
there
and
you
that'll
go.
be perfect.
But also the Summit County thing is maybe more relevant because
Yeah,
they're building, and it's for Forest Service employees, and it's a really good collaboration. And I think it's on Forest Service land, which is of course different than what you can do in the national parks. But are you aware of the Summit County
a
area?
little bit. It was mentioned to me at my Forest Service meeting there, and we have different regulations
Yeah, I know.
and policies in the Forest Service. But one thing that I love, and you bring up, and I brought it up at our housing summit, was flexibility and thinking outside the box. We're going to absolutely have to do that.
Well, and even like what Commissioner Stevens was saying, working with the Estes Park, the Estes Valley, the county, because they're dealing with serious workforce housing issues. And again, there may be a way to all of us work together. And if we can't build the housing in the park, maybe there's a way to build it close to the park or in
Absolutely.
inappropriate locations. Yes.
One thing that
Okay.
I can tell you is I'm super thankful for the way you're thinking and the dialogue that we're having here. Everybody since I've moved to Larimer County to Colorado has been wonderful. And the leadership that you guys have and what you're proposing and the open mindedness is what's going to lead us to success in the future. So I'm very thankful for your questions and your words, and I look forward to working with you all to find solutions. And that means that you guys have opened yourselves up to have more dialogue, and I hope that's going to be okay as we try to find solutions in the
Yes, of course.
future.
And happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you
I'm
all
done.
too.
So I'm going to build off of the housing thing. I know some of the housing was burned in the East Troublesome fire, both sides, the Thompson over onto Estes where we had evacuated. You probably heard
Right.
about all of that, and then the west side. So with the burning of that, are they going to be rebuilding some of that housing, or
Yeah.
what? Because I know there's a lot of construction. I was over there, not this year, but the year before. I finished up and hiked more on the west side.
Yeah.
So is that happening?
Yeah, that is happening. So the west side has had a lot of construction. We have more happening this coming summer. That should solidify our housing issues on the west side. We have employees that are staying in Winter Park, and they have to drive. It's like an hour or so back and forth, and it's hard if you're making the wages that we pay, which are fair, right? But you have an hour plus commute to get to work. There's other opportunities that you can find for seasonal work. So that issue we're going to address this year. The housing issue should be addressed by the end of summer, and crossing our fingers everything goes well so they can move into the summer next.
Excellent. Great to hear that. I just hadn't heard an update, and
Yeah.
I knew about the employees living in Winter Park, and
Yeah.
it just I have a son who travels an hour each way for his job because of housing, and so
hard.
it's really hard.
Yeah.
And just wanted to let you know, we have partnered with the city of town of Estes. We gave some of our American Rescue Plan dollars to workforce housing project that they're trying to do, kind of more on the Fall River entrance. And so, that's still ongoing. And so we've committed $2 million to that. And so that shows our commitment to workforce housing. And I don't know of how much of that was going to hopefully be helpful for the employees, but just know, there's certainly conversations we've been having and open to that. And I know we've tried to engage you also more in depth with some of the land use issues around the edge of the park. I look over to Leslie Ellis, our Community Infrastructure and Resources. Planning and Resources, CPERS director. And she also used to be a ranger for a short time in the park. No? Volunteer. Intern. But I think that's pretty cool. And so just wanted to kind of share that we're trying to also engage with some of that for the land issues around the park. And I hope that we continue to be looking at that. And that's kind of one of the reasons I had some of those conversations with you about that.
That's fantastic. Hearing about Fall River, I don't know if you had heard, but I've given them my thumbs up. And as we've talked about it, I know that the park had some concerns about it being so close to the park before. I've walked that land, and I think there's an easy way to build in some concessions from the creek going, I guess that would be going north. I think it's a lovely place to build housing, and I think it helps us all.
Yeah.
So big thumbs up for me.
Great, awesome. And I was at that NOCO Places 2050. That's when we broke out into the groups to do that kind of messaging and kind of forward thinking. And I remember you being there, but sometimes I come in from that after chairing on the Forest Health Council Legislative Committee. The governor appointed me to the Colorado Forest Health Council, and and so we have a lot of folks on that council. And we talk about wildfire mitigation and workforce and capacity and the urgency, the huge urgency of mitigating our forests and things right now. As you, I don't need to talk to you about that. You know, I'm rereading The Big Burn right now, so just kind of big urgency there. So I wanted to just say, just would love to talk to you more about that, because that's something that I live and breathe. We meet every 2 weeks, and so. And NOCO Place is just a great group, common messaging, common working. And I know the pressure is like the balloon, you know, trying to make sure we squeeze a balloon here, where's the balloon going to go? And then I, just a couple of things for me personally, you know, seeing paddle boarders more up on the Arctic and the Alpine lakes and stuff. And I didn't know if there was if there's rules against that or not. And how does that look? People carrying paddle boards, inflatable paddle boards, all the way up to like the lock and stuff. And
that's new news to me. I'll ask that question though.
Yeah. This is the first year. As I say, I hike every year so many miles in certain trails. And the first year I've seen people hauling up paddle boards. And I didn't know, because I've seen that in Glacier and Tetons, and just kind of like, whoa, you know, how does that work? And then I know that you guys understand this, but I think I'm probably feeling this. Social trails are just, I think, worse than I've ever seen them. I went up and hiked my 120th mile. I did kind of the loop between the lock and Mills and up and around and down by Cub and Fern and all of that. And seeing the social trails in places I've never seen before. And I think it was Kyle in your office that shared there was probably 50 miles or 55 miles extra of social trails around the lock. And I didn't know, is there any, how can we, I mean, I know this is not in our purview, but how can we as lovers and of Larky National Park and trying to help educate with Leave No Trace in folks, how can we message and help you to talk about how damaging, I mean, we say it, but how else can we help you with that messaging? Because I have never seen it like I saw it this last fall. So.
You know, there's, in your position and as community members and park lovers, the best thing you can do is use social media to your advantage. One thing that I've seen in dealing with this in other parks, people that post a picture of a social trail and the little blurb of the damage, being nice and polite, but that stuff blows up and things get, you know, they grow. And what's amazing is, you know, the majority of people that will create a shortcut, a social trail, they're looking at social media too, right? They're doing their searches, and things pop up. So that's one way. The other way to do it is to politely, if you see somebody going on a social trail, is, you know, tell them that, you know, hey, I've been coming here my whole life, or I come here and I hike all these miles. It's better if you come over here so that doesn't get damaged and we can appreciate that area. So that's the other way. If you see huge abuses, you've got to let us know, like you did. Kyle will pass it on to our trails people, to law enforcement, and we'll deal with it. It's an ongoing problem. And I'll just say one last thing on that. Sometimes, I've worked in national parks long enough to know that sometimes we may have designed a trail and put it in the wrong place. And people will always find a shorter distance or a more scenic route. And so we have to keep open minds to that. And I've asked my staff to always keep an open mind to that. If we need to rearrange and move a trail and close that one off so that we use the one that the majority of people use, we'll use that one. If you want to do something fun, Google the Curry Meadow in Yosemite Valley. And you may find some before and after pictures. It was known as probably the worst social trail network. It looked like a spider web in this meadow. So if you went to Glacier Point, looked down, there were hundreds, because everybody had campsites on this side trying to get to Curry Village. And so it was just crazy. But we restored that many years ago, and it seems to be working. Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. And yeah, I've done all the above. And now I have a new trick. When I'm out on the trail and I see someone off on the social trail and I see them getting ready to take a picture, or some people ask me to take a picture, I have a condition. And they look at me, why? And I'm like, well, let me talk to you about leave no trace. And let me tell you why going up this trail. And I'm hoping that you will practice this
There
and
you
also
go.
tell someone else. And actually, I have not had any pushback. Everyone, like, wow, I didn't realize that. And
That's
thank
right.
you. And I take great photos of them. And then I go on. It takes my little hung, but that's kind of my way of trying to. I know I just started this the last 2 years, but it's because it just frustrates me sometimes to
It
see
does.
people just going off trail and their sign says stay on trail and they walk right around it. So I appreciate the work that you do, and we're really glad to have you here
Thank you
today.
so much.
And I look forward to our continuing partnership, and
Absolutely.
welcome to Larimer County. Lorena, did you have any kind words you wanted to, or well, you probably have lots, you always say kind things, but do you have some comments you'd like to say?
I do, I guess. You all have said so many wonderful things and asked great questions about housing. I'm looking forward to working with you. I think we can reach out in the first of the year and figure out how we might talk more about these concepts.
Perfect. Looking forward to it. Reach out to me anytime. Thank you.
Well, colleagues, I would like to take a point of personal privilege. Can we stop and pause just for a moment and take a picture with our new superintendent
Hey.
just to welcome him? That would be great. Thank you. So for those in the audience, please give us a moment of pause. We'll be returning momentarily for our next agenda item. Thank you. Thank you all for giving us a moment to pause to celebrate and welcome our new superintendent for Rocky Mountain National Park, Mr. Gary Ingram, and we welcome him again. And what a great conversation. We'll move on to next, our only discussion item today, but it's a pretty special one. We're pretty excited. We are going to talk with Connor McGrath, the director of the ranch, our events complex and center that we're so proud of, a jewel for Larimer County. And we're here to celebrate with the ranch and their staff for winning the Best of NOCO Award. And are we still doing the Best of Rodeo? Because I thought we were doing a rodeo in January because they're coming in January. Okay, because I invited the rodeo board in January, so I want to make sure we don't steal too much of their thunder because they're coming. Okay, so we'll invite now Connor McGrath up to the podium, please. And you can bring your staff up, Katie and Louise, Lou. And I love that jacket. I think I have it in red. Great. Thank you, Connor.
and good morning, Commissioners. Thanks for having us here today. We are really excited to discuss with you and the public about our achievements at the ranch. As you all know, I've been with the ranch for just over a year, and we're dedicated to just making the ranch an even better gem for Larimer County and the surrounding municipalities, and competing on that regional level. We're coming off the back of a really successful year. People have definitely seen some big name acts at the ranch this year. We've gone through the naming rights conversion from the Budweiser Event Center to Blue Arena. We've hosted Tool, we've hosted Adam Sandler, and we've had some really great successes in securing new events in the First National Bank Expedition Halls as well as the Mac Equipment Arena. And also just completing phase 2 of the master plan, and now embarking in on phase 2B with the addition of the new event arena and the youth hockey. So we did win 2 awards this year, one being the NOCO style best entertainment venue in northern Colorado, and then for the Mountain States PRCA rodeo we won the best medium-sized rodeo for 2023. So we're very excited to be here today, educating you and the public of our accomplishments this year.
Thank you. And as I understand, that's the first time the rodeo has ever won that award in the 75 history of the rodeo. But we're inviting them to the whole rodeo board to come celebrate that in January. So that'll be great. So, well, congratulations. Any other items with that? And I know that's a big, can you just explain what NOCO is for members of the public?
Yeah, I'm going to hand that over to
Okay, cool. Thank you.
NOCO Style Magazine is a local publication, and they've been running this awards for quite a while now. So this is a huge accomplishment. So we're really excited. We've got some bragging rights. A lot of local businesses, you'll see that they have the stickers and the awards hanging in their businesses. They're very proud of that. And I wanted to throw out there too, Louise and I actually just got back from the International Association of Exhibitions and Events Conference. I was at the Destination Colorado's Meetings and Events Showcase event last week. So at those more regional and national events that we attend, this actually carries a lot of weight also. So not just locally, but regionally and nationally. So we're very proud of it.
Thank you for sharing that. Louise, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just sort of backing up with what Connor was saying, we just have an amazing complex, but also amazing staff. So I want to say thank you to all the staff, because everybody's won this award, because it's the greater complex, not just one area. So thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you all for being here today. Well, we'd like to say a few kind words and congratulations first off. I'm really glad you brought that today. So, but I think we'd like to ask maybe some questions or make comments. So we'll start with Commissioner Kofalis.
I don't think I have questions. I'm just very grateful for all the very good changes that we've seen in the last year or so, and before that we're working on phase 2 of our master plan. I mean, it's exciting. The seats are a lot more comfortable these days, and it is true. While I probably won't be attending like the monster truck event, that sort of thing, there's a lot of really good events that we have the opportunity to attend, and certainly looking forward to the 2024 Larimer County Fair and Rodeo. And I don't remember the exact dates, but maybe you folks could share that. But otherwise, just gratitude and thank you, and wishing you all the best. And it's staff, it's volunteers, it's a team effort. You all have done very well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, just congratulations, first of all. That's a great honor. And I'm not surprised because I think in the past year or, maybe a couple of years or so, we have really seen big acts come to the fairgrounds, to the ranch. Adam Sandler's a pretty big deal. So, and I think people are seeing it in a different light because of that, right? I think that people are not, thinking about the ranch as the place to go. And I think that's pretty exciting for us because we want it to be self-sustaining. We've talked about that. But just appreciate, Connor, your leadership in making that happen. And, not event is for everyone, but there is an event for everyone. And I think that's what makes it special is I did not go to that strongman competition, although I will admit to having watched that on ESPN sometimes, but there are so many the variety of events I think is really important, because we're really, we can, if you're not interested in sports, there's music and comedy and the Cirque du Soleil and all kinds of opportunities. So that's my segue into ask my one question, which is, what events would you like to highlight that are coming up?
I'm sitting here thinking about our Lego Brick Fest that's coming 1st of February. That's a huge event down in Denver. Louise actually brought that one in, so we're really excited about that one. So that'll be fun. We have a lot of Lego fans around here, I think.
And what does that look like? I mean, is that people building like spectacular things out of Legos?
Yes.
Okay, that sounds fun. So if you can't make it to Legoland, come to the ranch in February. Anything else that any other shows that we're...
The new indoor arena football league that starts in March. I know, Madam Chair, you were at the opening for that. So we're excited to have arena football back in the stadium. So we're excited for that too. But Brickfest, to Katie's point, is a big deal. That's come to it. If you don't want to go to Strongman, go to Brickfest.
Okay, you know what? That sounds fun. I might just do that. So thank you very much. Thank you again. Congratulations on the award. Thanks for your great work, and we'll see you at the ranch.
Thank you, Commissioners. Well, we're talking about Strongman. I just want to reflect back to the 20-year anniversary, and you guys did such a great job engaging the public and having, I forgot his name. It was in my brain a second ago, the Strongman for so many years. I've never met someone so tall, but that was a lot of fun. I'm glad I didn't fall on the ice scoring a goal, but that was great. And my heels, that was not a good thinking my part, but I'm glad I scored a goal in front of everybody. That was fun. But I just, in all seriousness, I have gone to more events this year as a participant, and it's been a really wonderful time. And everyone just so many positive things to say between the renovation and some of the other things. Seeing Billy Idol, and I think I took I took some folks who were. Who have now passed, but one of my friends was in hospice, and gotten to take her to see some things was just really, really special. So thank you for that, because big hockey fans, and they're just really made some cool things, and just the variety, but also the energy that I see is just infectious. And everyone's so proud, and I think the heart. Thank you, Katie, for getting a Loveland heart there and engaging more of the some of the other community members or community organizations that said, "Well, I didn't realize this about the ranch." I'm like, "We've been here for 20 years. Why didn't you?" So you guys have really done a fantastic job engaging folks and letting them see what a beautiful facility and all the anemones and all those things, and things that. That I think are special, and the parking is just I think really positive to have parking so close, and the new layout for getting in and out makes it flow so much quicker. It's just a lot of progress and a lot of great changes that have been helpful, and I just appreciate the energy and the thoughtfulness and the work that you all do. And I agree with you. You can have all the great programs in the world and a nice fancy, shiny building, but it's the people that make the difference. And we have so many amazing folks here in Larimer County, over 2,000 employees. And we don't always get to come over in that campus and engage, but you guys are a special team, and you make the world of a difference. And we want to say congratulations. What a fantastic award. Well-deserved, and very proud of the work that you're doing. And I look forward to some more events, and I think I'm going to be attending one of those football games. So that's an interesting and very neat and unique group of folks, and excited to see how that goes. So, but yeah, appreciate everything that you do, and just always making sure how everyone has a great experience when they come out there. It's really special. As a matter of fact, I was at the Regional Business Summit last week, and I wanted to make a note of that. That was full. The restaurant upstairs was packed with people, and people just commenting, and the great food. But at the same time, you had some other conference over at the 4-H building, and there was just probably even more people there. And then they were coming over and taking tours, and I was just blown away. It was almost like fair time. The whole parking lot was full, and so I think my comment on that is, you were able to facilitate a lot of local officials, elected officials, and important business leaders, and another conference, and you had them at the same time, and I didn't see any glitches. It was just amazing to be able to try to juggle those two big events. I'm not sure which the other one was. Looked like maybe construction oriented.
I think it was turf grass, so that's quite a large one.
Yeah.
It's a national one, so we're very
Yeah,
proud of
so
it.
but I was just impressed. It didn't. They just flowed so well together, and that to me, that makes that says a lot because when it looks so easy and effortless, that means staff have done an amazing job. So I want to just say thank you. With this, impressed so much with the work that you're doing. And I agree with my colleagues. The last year has been really impressive. The things that you guys have done. So appreciate that so much, Lorinda. I know you have plenty to say about this.
I guess I want to say, well, the ranch is no longer the best kept secret in northern Colorado, right? Obviously, people are using it. They're coming for lots of different reasons. It's not just the fairgrounds anymore. And that is a direct result of this team and the whole team back at the ranch. Thank you. Congratulations. It is quite an honor, and it's wonderful to see your work recognized so publicly in such a big way. So congratulations to all of you. It's a really big deal.
Yeah, thank you. And please express our congratulations and gratitude to the entire team. So we're going to pause so you guys can take a picture and show off your award. And so for members of the public watching online, we're going to pause. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you. Back, everyone. Thank you for your patience as we took a moment to celebrate with our director of the ranch, Conrad Graff, Louise, and Katie Bettermer, as we celebrate the ranch winning a Best of NoCo award, which is a big deal, and also we'll be continuing to celebrate the Best Medium-Sized Rodeo for our rodeo for their 75th, first time in 75 years. So it's great. And want to just thank you all as we took a moment to take a picture and celebrate them, but well-deserved recognition. So now we're done with our discussion items. We'll move on to our county manager update.
Sure, I'll keep it brief. I did a lot of, feels like outward-facing work last week. I met with both the sheriff and the assessor for our regular touch-base meetings, also the manager of Johnstown, the Northern Colorado Health District, Poudre Fire Authority, and CSU Extension. And so those were always productive meetings. It seems like the end of the quarter also coincides with the holidays, and so we had a lot of celebrations of things done this past year. Maybe most exciting, I attended the Early Childhood Council of Larimer County Appreciation Awards event, and to be in a room with so many people who donate their time, who really work well beyond their job descriptions to serve our community members, it was really an uplifting evening. Our Human Services Office was awarded the Employee Friendly Recognition of the Year for the work that they do with flexible schedules and the way that they conduct their work so that they can provide some work-life balance for people who do very, very hard jobs. It was nice to see Heather O'Hare and her team recognized because it really is a culture shift, and I hope that others look to them as well as an example. And then we all attended the Behavioral Health 5-year celebration, which I will let you all speak more about. And finally, the fourth quarter regional Weldon Larimer City and County Managers meeting was held last week. It's always good to get together with this group, compare notes, think about what's going on and how we might share and learn from each other and collaborate on projects. So those are the highlights of my week last week. Thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday.
I'm going to pause you there. Thank you for your report, but I think you skipped did you mention your award that you received?
I did not.
Well, would you mind sharing the award you received as well?
Sure. I was recognized as the Early Childhood Systems Builder, working with the Early Childhood Council over the last year to try to figure out how to further their initiative to provide some level of funding for childcare across our community. We worked really closely together, and it was an honor to be recognized. Thank you.
Well-deserved recognition and congratulations. So sorry that I need to put you on the spot, but that was a big deal. So I wanted to make sure you got to share about that. Colleagues, do you have any questions or comments for Lorenda? Commissioner Stevens.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say congratulations on the award as well, and thank you for shepherding this process. I think it's been a long journey in trying to figure out how we fund childcare in our community. It's such a grave need, and yet, without a dedicated funding source, it doesn't seem like we're going to solve the problems that we're having with childcare, and it's just one more added expense that so many families are dealing with, and just because of the fact that it's really important to have high quality childcare in our community to make sure our kids are prepared for school. And so just thank you for your leadership in that space. It's been really great to have you there and have you kind of thinking through that problem with us. And so well-deserved award. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I agree, well-deserved reward. You have done a lot. And I want to thank the Early Childhood Council for holding those awards and for honoring two amazing leaders in our community. Congratulations to Heather O'Hare as well. So, Commissioner Falls, do you have anything else you want to add to that? Or I can just start with our community reports and have you start there if you'd like. Commissioner Stevens, would you like to do your activity reports?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So a few things that we did last week. I attended the Front Range Passenger Rail announcement at History Colorado last week with the governor and the CDOT director, and actually the the Federal Railroad Administrative Director came to where the announcement was made that we were accepted into the Corridor ID program. That comes with $500,000, but more importantly, it sets us up for other dollars that we can access for Front Range Passenger Rail. There's a lot of momentum right now around it, partially because there's so many federal dollars that we can access, but also because we've identified that we would be able to use existing rail, and so that makes it a lot easier, less expensive, and we're no pun intended, ready to roll. And so I think that there's just some really excitement, like I said, especially the Fort Collins to Denver route. I think is maybe the first portion of that. Ultimately, the rail would extend from Fort Collins to Pueblo, and then at some point maybe even to New Mexico and Wyoming. But for now, really exciting that we're really looking at Front Range Passenger Rail, that we have a path forward to get there. And so that was a great announcement. It was great to be there for that. Then just we had our PAC meeting for solid waste. So we had Dwayne Penny from our solid waste department present on some of the things we're looking at with regard to the landfill, and also some really great 21st, what I would call 21st century options for diversion. So we know that many of us want to get to this zero waste place. We want this to be the last landfill we'll ever need. We don't think that landfilling is a great option going forward. And so how do we look at diversion? And so, as we vet some of the people that are willing to work, some partners that are willing to do diversion with us, it was great to hear what some of the options might be. And so I think that we will work with our municipal partners on the landfill and those diversion projects, but really exciting, I think, to contemplate that. And then just wanted to remind folks that we did adopt the budget well last week, which was pretty exciting. And during that meeting, we did announce that we are doing mill levy credits to the tune of $4.5 million. Those are dollars that folks that own property and have property won't have to spend. So it obviously it gets spread out between everyone in the county that owns property, but it is a bit of a at least nod to folks who, we know property taxes are high. We know that people are struggling with their property taxes. And so giving some relief, even however small, I think will help people understand that we understand the needs that people have. We understand that the costs have gone up for people. And so, and it still allows us to really maintain our budget and take care of services that people in Larimer County count on. And then just wanted to say, we had our Middle Income Housing Authority meeting. As we're talking about workforce housing, that's what the Middle Income Housing Authority is designed to do. I mean, the one problem with housing right now is just that interest rates are so high that there's not a lot of people that are willing to look at affordable housing or workforce housing right now. So hopefully those conditions will change a little bit, but for right now, there's not a lot of excitement or enthusiasm about building something with the interest rates. So, and then what I wanted to end with is that as we come up on the holiday season, it's joyful for many of us, and for others it is not as joyful. It can be really difficult if you're estranged from family, if you have dealt with loss or other situations. And so just wanted to remind folks that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available. They have people who can speak to folks in Spanish, and it can also be a texting option if you're not comfortable with speaking to someone on the phone. So 988 is the number you would call for that. Also, I know our local police departments and sheriff's departments will do well checks. So if you call their non-emergency number, if there's someone you're concerned about, please get in touch with them. And then finally, for walk-in services for people in crisis, our Longview Center is now open on Trilby. And looking at the Summit Stone page, it looks like they are billing themselves as behavioral health urgent care. So we're familiar with the urgent care model. Some people call it doc in a box, but it's a great service to have for people in emergency situations. We've all used it for other medical reasons. And so if you have any behavioral health needs or you have someone in your family in crisis, please feel free to go to that walk-in center 24/7 at 2260 West Trilby. And I wish everyone a happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you. I would like to share a few things. Last Monday, we were able to stop off at the Old Town Fort Collins menorah lighting, and couldn't stay very long, but was glad to wish people a happy Hanukkah. And then we were at the Larimer County Fair and Rodeo Appreciation Dinner It was a really fun event. As was stated earlier, amazing staff and certainly amazing volunteers, really integral to pulling off fairs and rodeos and all the other special events that take place in 4-H. But that was really a nice event. On Tuesday, the 12th, I attended the Environmental and Science Advisory Board meeting as the commissioner liaison, and mostly I stayed for part of it and gave an update, but they talked about their annual report. They're one of our advisory boards that does an annual report. They looked at the 2024 work plan, and one thing that was really interesting, it was the first time the newly selected, appointed youth member from CSU, Colorado State University College of Natural Resources. She attended the meeting, so that was good. On Wednesday, the 13th, we attended the Northern Colorado Regional Economic Development Initiative at High Beverage in Johnstown, and that's a collaborative effort between Larimer and Weld County regarding economic development, and that was very interesting as well. Provided good information on how we're working together and with the state to attract different kinds of businesses and to grow the businesses that are here. As was mentioned, we did adopt a 2024 budget, certainly on the expense side of things. Oh, I know, I forgot to mention also on Tuesday after the Environmental and Science Advisory Board meeting, I attended with my wife the if you're not aware, there's something called Dance Express. They've been around since 1989, 34 years, and they basically their mission is to celebrate dance and improve lives. But they have people with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities who participate in performances. And one of the groups that the last couple of times that we've gone, it's a local hip hop group, Foco Flava, and they actually dance together. So I did want to mention that. I'm almost done, I think. The 5-year celebration was mentioned. That was great. Um, oh, yes, on Saturday, this past Saturday, I attended the Larimer County Master Gardener recognition banquet at Front Range Community College. And for those of you who may not know, I think currently we have about 128 volunteers that are certified as Master Gardeners. They recognize people that have been there, everywhere from 5 years as volunteers to 35 years, and collectively it's like 350 years of experience helping to implement the Master Gardener program, and that was really good. And I guess finally, I'm sure others will talk about it more. Yesterday was UC Health Day, and we were at the groundbreaking Medical Center of the Rockies in Loveland. Is building a new expansion of the hospital, 5-story tower, increasing the bed capacity and also expanding their emergency department. And then in the afternoon, they had a really good event, helping the community, what they do to try to help community health. So that was also good. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and appreciate both of you and the work that you do in our community, and I appreciate our partnership and our collaboration. So want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I hope that you all have some wonderful time with your family and friends. And looking back on this year, I'm grateful for the work that we have done together and that you all do separately on behalf of our community. And I just want to take a moment to wish you all and all the staff in the room for you and the work that you do, and just appreciate the time and service together. So I wanted to thank you both and say thank you. So, and wish you all the best. I just will touch real quick. Yes, the Old Town menorah lighting was wonderful. It was a large group. I caught the tail end of the Loveland one because I didn't get the reminder about that. So it was great to see that as well. It's amazing how many lightings they do around the community throughout Larimer County. And I want to thank Rabbi Gorlick and everyone who organizes that. And that was a lot of fun to touch base and to celebrate and to come with the community and show our support. And there's lots of ways people celebrate this holiday season. And so we celebrate all of those and welcome everyone. This is a community and county that we want to build a sense of belonging and inclusion. And I think that's really important. So wanted to just state that. Also, I do agree. Thank you to the all the folks that serve on the Larimer County Fair and rodeo boards. I'm the liaison to the rodeo board, and just was a great opportunity to get back together and celebrate. Because starting in January, it's time to start planning for the 141st year of the fair and the 76th year of the rodeo. And there's a lot of work. And it was great to celebrate them and celebrate all these great accomplishments. There's a lot of things that I did last week, but I'm just going to try to do some highlights. I want to thank the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, for their open house. It was so much fun to go out to their office, just kind of west of my house, because I live out in unincorporated parts of Larimer County. And the elk were on the way up there, because they were in my backyard this time. They were closer to DNR, but I want to thank them for the welcome, and it was just a really high energy. They had a full house, the fullest house I've ever seen, and they had the most amazing breakfast burritos they got from Fort Collins. So that made my day, because I love a good breakfast burrito. It was awesome. And so I wanted to thank them for that. I wanted to share with my colleagues, I went Kids Pack. As you know, we've been helping support their capital project to expand and finally have a home after 11 years. But for the members of the public who don't know Kids Pack, it's a nonprofit that started off with Loveland Rotary, but now is a separate nonprofit that feeds folks kids on the weekends with bags of food that goes home on their backpacks. There's other programs throughout Larimer County, but this is the largest and biggest, and great partnership. But they delivered over 1,000 bags last week to kids to go home so they have some food over the weekend. But they received, because usually in Safeway, and we have lots of stories. We used to hand out frozen turkeys and bags of food so people could pick up their turkey dinner and bags of food. And I have my daughter and I and some of the volunteers have spent below freezing levels pulling turkeys out of backs of trucks and getting them ready. And we learned to buy gloves with stickies on them, but now they've moved on to a gift card so that people can shop and with dignity and also with discretion, but also buy items that is, preferential to how they like to celebrate. And so we got asked to come and they received a $1,000 check through Safeway through Mondelez, which is Triscuits, and that is going to be used to help provide those holiday meals, and just really super fun time. And I want to say congratulations. We had I also attended the NOCO Regional Economic Development Initiative meeting out at High Country Beverage in Johnstown. It was great to network with folks and talk with commissioners from other county and with staff, and really exciting group in the work that they're doing. There's a startup company out of Fort Collins that was celebrated. It's their patent went through and they got approval through the NDA for the FDA. It's a bloodless way to collect blood, and then you can take that kit and then send it in for your testing. And that would be great for folks who live rural that maybe can't get in for appointments. And this will be, this company is in our wonderful Larimer County and part of this initiative. And so that was really exciting to hear about that progress and celebrate that. Also, we had our Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners holiday party, and I want to just thank the staff for all the hard work they did. That our Planning Commission, their volunteers who serve on that important board, and the staff that work alongside them, and they do a lot above and beyond work. And I just want to thank them again and appreciate everyone coming out. It was a lot of fun. We had our volunteer appreciation for the Office on Aging Advisory Council, and that's always fun. The Estes Valley Planning Advisory Council committee had their special meeting to talk about work plans and things to look for the future. Again, we had our budget meeting and appreciate all the work the staff did, especially with the special session and the changes. And I just want to say, I just want to thank once again Josh Fudge, Matthew Buchanan, and Alex Jordan, and Lorenda, and Lori, and everyone that worked, all the department heads that worked on this budget. Lots of tweaks and ups and downs as we were trying to navigate all the uncertainty from things outside of our control, from the state and other things. And I wanted to just because I didn't get to stay after the budget meeting and had to run down to the regional opioid abatement meeting. This historic tax credit not only demonstrates our board's commitment to offering substantial relief to our community members, but also aligns with our proactive disaster mitigation and recovery planning efforts. And it's a big strategic step in balancing the county's fiscal needs while ensuring our community's economic well-being and readiness for any natural disasters that may arise in the future. And it's a really important budget. Budgets are not just numbers and documents, but also kind of value statements. And I think we kind of made a good statement. We had our regional opiate abatement council. We had a report from the sheriff's office on the expansion of the co-responder program, which the regional opiate abatement council supported with a direct allocation grant along with some behavioral health money. And the sheriff's co-responder now is able to respond to 62% of the calls for co-responders because they are now covering from 8 a.m. to midnight, which they weren't able to do before. So now they have more staff to do that. And I think wanted to share that with my colleagues because I think that's really important. So it was a 24% increase from that grant. And it was really great report. And I want to thank Sergeant Cook for his work and for the leadership that supports him. It's really important. And they're one of the main groups that have been directly transporting folks to the behavioral health center, acute crisis center at Longview. And so we went from that, and we're starting to approve our budget for the abatement money for the next phase, our next phase 2 plan. And so we went from that meeting over to the behavioral health celebration, which was after working on the campaign before becoming commissioner. I just can't believe we're done with phase 1 and successful completion. And I want to celebrate with everyone. We had a lot of folks there that are grantees and partners in Summit Stone. For members of the public that maybe you haven't heard this number before, the first 9 days of opening the acute care center at our Larimer County Behavioral Services at Longview Campus Acute Care Center in 9 days has seen 181 patients in the first 9 days. And I think that's a huge number and very important to share. So, and also a lot of these folks are people who are just driving up. And so also part of that successful phase 1 is our impact grant program, which has been going on since the start of this initiative with the sales tax starting in 2019. And that impact grant program, which now our board has increased to $2.8 million a year for the grants, has given out $11.97 million, almost $12 million, that invested in 187 grants through 65 organizations. And I know we shared that at the celebration, but it is noted. I wanted the public to hear this as well, since they may not have been able to attend that celebration. But thank you to all of our partners, our Summit Stone Health partners, all the grantees, and all our law enforcement and our emergency services and first responders. This is a thing we all celebrate together because that's the Larimer way, I call it. We do things here collectively in partnership, and I think that's why we're getting a lot of tremendous work done. I want to echo what Commissioner Stevens said about the holidays. First, I want to thank all the first responders. Some of my family will be working Christmas Eve and Christmas. A lot of folks who are in law enforcement and first responders will be working on those days and won't be with their families. And I want to thank them for their service. There are a lot of essential workers that work those, so please thank them. Thank them for their work and their service, and maybe just do that not only around the holidays, but going forward into the new year. A lot of folks, there's a lot of high need and a lot of volume right now. And I think it's important, not only the hospitals and at Longview and at the emergency departments, but around other venues. And I think just a kind word is really important. And I think there's a lot of folks who've lost loved ones this year, or people that are struggling with life challenges. So it is important that we show kindness and to each other, and at this time, maybe forget all about the things that make us different, but let's celebrate all the things that we share that make us stronger and make us a strong community, and that we share in our common humanity. So I'm hoping everyone will think about that and maybe spread some kindness and say good words, and look out for those older adults, or maybe those people that live next door or around you that maybe don't have family around, or maybe you realize are not able to celebrate with someone, and maybe bring them a plate or invite them to your table, or just, give them a kind word, because I think that makes the world a difference. We had our legislative committee for the Forest Health Council on Friday, and I wanted to share that with you. I did have this report if you're interested. It's we had mostly talked about the legislation. We're going to be looking at the state capitol coming forward. A lot of this is related to our watersheds and our restoration work and forward mitigation work for not only our county but the state. But we had Colorado Department of Natural Resources Director Gibbs, and the director of the Fire Commission, or the Fire Service Director Morgan, presented on the federal report of the Wildland Fire Mitigation and Management Commission, which is a group that's been met. It's a very diverse group. It's the Biden Commission, they called it, and they met for the last year and did a tremendous work. There's 147 recommendations, and a lot of this really resonates with me. I think will also resonate with our county. I'm hoping folks will ask for funding to not only just have this report happen and sit on a shelf, but hopefully we can ask our federal delegation to help keep this commission alive, keep the work alive, and maybe we can see how we can implement these recommendations. It's really important work, and just want to share that, colleagues, if you're interested in it. There's some great quotes, but it is long. Just to give you that feedback, but there's 147 recommendations. We did go through about 10 of them that were priorities we thought for Colorado. So I just wanted to share that with you. So that was really busy. I know I'm going through a lot, but we all been running around the committee. I wanted to thank on Saturday, well, there are a lot of other things I did on Friday, but Saturday morning, I was very lucky. I didn't get a chance to volunteer, but I did take a personal donation, but it's called the NoCo Secret Santa Workshop. And there's a group of volunteers who work for months and organize and train folks. They don't announce the location until the day of, because they want people to have a fair chance to get in line, but the line was around the block, and they handed over 3,000 new toys to folks in Loveland, and it was downtown. And I was able to attend the Grinch. I just missed him, but he was running through the room stealing presents and then driving around the block, kind of heckling the kids outside. It was a lot of fun. I got to take actually, the Santas and Mrs. Claus had been staying up in Estes Park and came down and were there to welcome the students, or the kids and families. I got to take a picture with them, and just amazing volunteers who give up their time, including Loveland Mayor Jackie Marsh. And all those kids leave. There's toys from birth all the way to teenagers, and they're brand new, wonderful toys. So they leave with a toy, stocking stuffer, a book, and more items. And then they get a family picture with Santa. They get hot cocoa and cookies, and they get their gifts wrapped before they leave the building. It's just quite the phenomenal effort. I want to thank all the work that they do. And it was fun just to watch the kids, just the joy. And just the line was around the block. That's the only thing I would say. I don't know how you would ever get all those kids and families through, but it was pretty special, and I want to thank them for their work. And I want to thank UC Health for inviting us to the groundbreaking for the new tower. Seeing that the emergency department is full most times, and lots of beds are full, to be able to double that, especially with our growing population, is going to be really important. And also this new tower, which will probably open in 2027, with all the construction things they will need to do, will be needing 250 new nurses. That's a tremendous amount of workforce coming to our community, which they'll also need housing. And so just some planning. And I know that they've been looking at a lot of the factors of what's growth is. So paying attention to that. I had a lot of great conversations with a lot of physicians who are on their leadership board. And we had a tour of the surgical intensive unit and the emergency department, of course. And we also got to see their training, which room, which is from mannequins that mimic live patients, from youth that are in car accidents or actually delivering babies, or and they're all a lot of them are mannequins of color or culturally sensitive items, and so it's just really interesting. And one of the mannequins was blinking its eyes for a minute. It kind of took me a moment, like, oh, that's really, they really are trying to simulate real live patients. So really cutting edge, innovative, but how they train and keep folks ready for all these emergencies. And they've also sounds like they're going to be one of the few centers that do these mechanical thrombosis ectomies, which is not only done in Denver, but they've been doing some successful studies. And I guess there'll be some things coming out in the news that we'll be able to offer this up in northern Colorado. And that's huge for outcomes for patients that are dealing with those kinds of issues that are life altering and saving. And so I want to thank Kevin Unger and UC Health for a warm welcome and the nice tour and the chance to learn a little bit more about what they do. So that's all I have today. Really busy season. Appreciate everyone coming today, and thank you again to Mr. Ingram and all of our staff. We wish you all a wonderful holiday season, and just thank you everyone for tremendous and wonderful 2023. We'll see you next year on these administrative matters meetings. And with that, at 10:35, we are adjourned. Thank you.